Welcome to this webinar for the DEW project. DEW stands for Digital Entrepreneurship for Women, and it's a project that is co-funded by the European Union Program for Education and Training, the Erasmus Plus program. It's a cooperation partnership under the strand of the Key Action 2 of the Erasmus Plus program, and it was funded by the National Agency of Ireland. It's a project that is very intuitive. The title says it all. It's really about contaminating three different words of digital transformation, supporting entrepreneurship, and looking at the gender dimension of entrepreneurship. I'm Lorenzo Costantino, and I'm representing today IHF as well. We are an NGO based in Brussels, and we're a small think tank and research center that is really working on the different facets of social and economic development dynamics in Europe. Today, I'm also together with Francesca Paolini from IDP, European Consultants, the Italian partner. Francesca, if you want to introduce yourself very shortly.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you. Yes, I'm Francesca Paolini from IDP. We are an SME based in Pescara, in Italy, and we are working in. We have been working in training and Erasmus projects for many years, and we work. We have a lot of experience in projects aimed at. The upskilling projects aimed at developing developing in particular entrepreneurial skills, not only of women, like in the case of DEW, but of SMEs, of trainers. So we develop many train the trainer programs, and so we want to share our experience in this webinar. Just to give you some input.
Yeah, thank you very much. And also we have another partner of the project, also an SME from Spain, and we have Roberta Albertazzi today.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you, Francesca. Yes, we are an SME from Malaga in particular, and our role in DEW project is that of IT partner, and we are the developers of the OER platform, which we will introduce in this webinar. And as Lorenzo was saying, the aim of this webinar is really to get to the people and to show the results of this great project, which are free, which are tailored for women entrepreneurs, and in general also to all those women who want to enter the job market, re-enter the job market. So the idea is really to make it known and easy to use for those people.
Thank you, Roberta. You nailed it down. And actually, the key messages for the people joining us for this webinar are, as Francesca was mentioning, the project developed training resources, operational tools to ignite the sense of entrepreneurship. As Roberta was mentioning, we have training around the concept of digital transformation for business and firm creation for women, so the gender dimension, and most importantly, all of these resources are free to use, total open access as mandated by the Erasmus Plus program. And these are resources that are free to use and readily accessible on our OER platform, Open Educational Resource Platform. So it's also available in multilingual versions. So it's in Italian, in Spanish, of course, in English. And it's available for both the training systems. So as Francesca was mentioning, it's for trainers and coaches and people working in firm creation and entrepreneurship support system for their target groups, but also most importantly, as Roberta was mentioning, for second chance entrepreneurship opportunities for women entering or re-entering the labor market through their own digital enterprise. So what we wanted to do today, and this is the first of a series of webinars that are going to be available on our YouTube channel, through our OER platform, through our website, of which you see in the background a snapshot. We have different ideas for this series of webinars. The first one, the one of today, is really to give a sort of a conceptual framework, the model behind the DEW system. It's going to be very interesting, especially for those practitioners who work in the theme and in the field of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial support system for female entrepreneurship, but also digital transformation and vocational education and training, because we will look at how we mingle different angles and perspectives. We started with the theoretical framework of the entrepreneurship competence framework of the European Commission, the ENTRECOMP framework. We extrapolated the key features, the skills, competences, and knowledge, the set of skills, competence, and knowledge that are part of the competence framework for entrepreneurship of the European Commission. We also took inspiration from the digital competence framework of the European Commission, the DigiComp. So in this project, what we try to do is really to operationalize these frameworks, these models that are seldom implemented across the VET ecosystems in Europe. And we take these two competence frameworks, and then we use the lens of the gender dimension to ignite digital entrepreneurship for women. So this is a little bit of the conceptual framework that we want to describe today. And tomorrow, or in the next webinars, in the next series of webinars, we want also to go into greater detail within the content and the structure of the training, how the training curriculum is structured, how do we position it along the European qualification framework level. We go from EQF 4 to 6, so to cover different dimensions of competence and qualification. But today we want to give really the overarching structure of what we did. So we will start with Francesca, giving us the perspective of the VET provider, the expert in entrepreneurship, the expert in business development, so that you can guide us, Francesca, on the conceptual framework of how we went from the competence framework, the European competence framework, into developing content for the DEW project. And then after that, we will go into the nitty-gritty of the IT platform behind the DEW project. What are the functionalities of the IT platform, how this IT platform can be used for digital and blended learning in full hybrid mentality. One element I wanted to share before we go into the details is really how this project started. This project started in a post-COVID environment and setting. COVID triggered a digital transformation, accelerated the digital transformation. But what we saw also during COVID was that gender-based violence, domestic-based violence was actually on the rise. So the COVID was really a demarcation point that, from our perspective, really generated a need to go back into the concept of female entrepreneurship, gender lenses into entrepreneurship. So we wanted also to look at how can we take advantage of what has happened in terms of digital transformation? How can we go into second chance entrepreneurship modalities for women? And so this is how it all started. So without further ado, sorry, Francesca, I'm always talking too much, but it's really a symptom of the passion, of how passionate we are about the project. So I would like to ask Francesca to give us a little bit of a sense of how we went about extrapolating from the competence framework of the European Commission on entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lorenzo. So first of all, I will share with you a presentation. Here it is. Can you see it, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. So as Lorenzo mentioned, this will be straightforward and a practical presentation for adult education providers and all the professionals in the field of training. And we want to give them some inputs and some hints on how to leverage on the European Union competence frameworks, in particular the ENTRECOMP framework, to design and delivery in training courses that are really gender sensitive, that are that take into account the actual need of women, and we want to suggest also how to read them through a gender lens. And of course, we think we think that it's important to share this methodology because we think it can be transferable and replicable also to address the needs of other target groups that, like women, can be described like disadvantaged groups because they may be because they face obstacles and barriers, for example, when accessing to business or accessing upskilling opportunities. And it can also be replicable with other competence frameworks. So not only ENTROCOM, but DCOM that Lorenzo mentioned, and others. Now, wait, that I can go on with the slide. Okay, here it is. Perfect. So the methodology, I will describe it very shortly. I mean, of course, the DEW partners, before developing the training, started with the needs assessment, carrying out a primary and secondary research, both at national and EU level, trying to understand which are the updated training needs of women entrepreneurs, both potential and existing women entrepreneurs, after the COVID pandemic and all the effects that it produced in the field and for women in particular. And after collecting and analyzing all the data, we try to link the training needs that came out with the training areas and training and competencies of the ENTROCOM framework in order to identify the topics of our training modules and the respective learning outcomes. So the ENTROCOM framework, I remind to those practitioners that are not so familiar with this tool, is the reference framework developed by the European Union, by the Joint Research Center of the European Commission, to describe the entrepreneurial competence, what it means to have an entrepreneurial mindset. And it can be used like a supporting tool for trainers and educators, for example, for the designing training training and also assessment tools that can be based on precise descriptors, indicators, and it can be also harmonized at EU level. Of course, there are so many resources to delve into this framework if you are interested to do that. Now we will try to see how, we will show you how the DEW partners wrote this framework through a gender lens. First of all, we collected the finding of our secondary research, and we saw that there was a mismatch between the perception of the training needs for women entrepreneurs and the actual training needs. Because according to the WE Barometer, that is an official survey of the European Commission targeted at women entrepreneurs, and it is the only pan-European survey of this kind available at this moment, we found out that women are perceived to have major training needs in financial management and control, business plan and organization, fundraising, investors relations. But when we look to the area where they register major lack of skills, we see these three dimensions. So yes, first of all, the fundraising and investor relations, but then the information technology, and this proved the relevance of the DEW project at that moment, and the internationalization of the business activities. So this mismatch, the lack of financial management and business plan dimensions within the areas where they registered a major lack of skills, can be also explained through by the lack of self-confidence that these women still still suffer, the women entrepreneurs. And it is confirmed also by the fact that when they list the enhancers prefer, they always mention self-building and empowerment programs. And this is a thing that does not happen with men, for example, with men entrepreneurs. This factor was confirmed also by the findings of our primary research when we asked women entrepreneurs across Europe which are the 4 most important skills that female entrepreneurs should have in a post-COVID digital world. Among all the, between all the competence of the ENTROCOM frameworks, and they mentioned it, first of all, the self-awareness competence, and then followed by the motivation competence. So that are both strictly linked to the need for major self-confidence. Then they mention also the planning and management and the financial literacy that, of course, we tackled in our training module. And then at this point of the analysis, at this point of the project, we had all the elements to start building our training courses and modules. Starting from the results of the research, we took the ENTROCOM framework and we went through all the areas of the framework, starting from the resources area. And first of all, we started selecting the competences that we wanted to tackle. First of all, we selected a self-awareness competence since we wanted our learners to really trust in their own ability to generate value in order to address the issue of lack of confidence that came out from the research. But we wanted to bring that our learners reach a more advanced level. We wanted them to reach a more advanced level of this competence. So we wanted them to be able also to recognize strengths and weaknesses and to compensate for their weaknesses by teaming up with others. So under the label of the advanced level of this competence, we found out, we identified one of the learning outcomes that we wanted to generate through the due modules. And we follow the same ratio when selecting other competences. So the motivation and perseverance, and the financial and economic literacy competence. The first one tackled, for example, in the entrepreneurship module of the due training. The third one tackled by the financial literacy and business literacy modules. Then we looked also to the results of the secondary research, and we decided to select also the mobilizing others competence. So for this reason, you will find the difference in colors within this table. So these are the ones that came out also from the primary research. These were based on the results of the secondary research. The mobilizing with others, why did we select this? Because we saw that at EU level, women used to run small businesses. The percentage of female-led businesses that can be considered high-growth businesses that need the support of many employees, the support of the investors in order to grow, is a low percentage compared to male-led businesses that fall under this category. Of course, this is due to a lot of structural factors that can be social, economic, cultural, that cannot be tackled by the due project and the training and support system alone. But of course, what we can do is to unlock these unexploited resources, like the support of investors, or like the possibility to hire more employees. So mobilizing all these categories, all these resources. How we can, and we can encourage through upskilling process, we can encourage women to unlock the resources, to work with them. And so, for example, we want them to, we want to aspire, we want women entrepreneurs to be able to aspire others and get them on board. So we bring them to the advanced level of this competence. The same reasons stand, the same reason, for the same reason we decide to pick up also the to select also the working with others competence and the coping with uncertainty and risk competence. So another important aspect is that the DEW project is about, how Lorenzo mentioned it at the beginning, is about digital skills, digital tools. So when we look to these indicators, to these capacities, in the modules, we give women a set of the digital, we provide women with a set of digital tools, resources, and new digital skills to reach this level of the competence. So for example, in the managing digital teams module, we say them how to build, how to widen their team and build networks, exploiting, of course, the digital resources that are available right now, and improving their digital skills in this particular sector. Then going on with the selection of the competences, of course, we also tackled the planning and management because it was among the top 4 selected by the women, mentioned by the women that we surveyed. And then within the ideas and opportunities area of the framework, we decided to select the spotting opportunities and creativity competence. Well, because we thought that through digital skills, through digital resources, women entrepreneurs can really excel in those 2 competencies. In particular, when it comes to spotting opportunities, we thought to not only economic opportunities, but financing opportunities, because we registered an issue on that women more than men, women entrepreneurs perceive to have difficulties when accessing information about financing opportunities, about entrepreneurship support policies. So we wanted them to be able to spot these opportunities through, of course, digital resources that are available at your level, but are very often unexploited. So this is the end of the presentation. So I think that now it's time to see how all these mapping process, these theoretical background and analysis brought to the implementation of concrete results of a concrete training course.
Thank you, Francesca. I think one element that you also provided us with is the learning outcome approach. And this is something that I should have mentioned at the very beginning. All over the implementation of the project, while developing the training courses, we always had a very strong focus on what are the learning outcomes, what are the intended learning outcomes for our users. And so this is the process that is also highlighted in the guidelines of the CEDEFOP on how to develop training content and training courses on the basis of learning outcomes. And this is very important because it also gives us a sense of how, over the implementation of the project, we have been using all the relevant tools made available by the European Commission. So the learning outcome approach to developing training content, the EQF levels, all the different aspects of how to use the entrepreneurship competence framework and the digital competence framework. So this is very, very important. And I thank Francesca and, of course, the team, the entire team of IDP, together with the consortium. I want to now leave the floor to Roberta, who is going to guide us through how this entire process translated into operational products and what is really behind, you know, what is in the toolbox that we have. What is in the box?
Exactly.
Show us, Roberta.
And actually, what really was interesting in the presentation that Francesca just did, was the fact that all the theory in this project really corresponds to really practical results, which are useful for all beneficiaries, for women in general. And also another component that really is fundamental in this project is the power of the consortium, because as Francesca showed, the great presence of research partner like IHF, IDP, and collaborating with a more practical approach of rural women association as the coordinator for women, or even the experience of women business as myself, for example. We give an extremely practical result and approach to all the outcomes from this project. And actually, what we will see here is the fact that all the theory that Francesca presented really translates into a real big result, which is the OER platform, which hosts the training developed to foster the creativity, give women real opportunities, lead them to actually improve their business, manage the teams. Here are some ideas about figures that we have reached so far with this OER platform, which is dewproject.eu, which is now on page 1 for the open search of digital entrepreneurship for women. It really means that it's there and you can find it, easily find it in more than 87 millions of results. So we strongly invite not only women, but also trainers and practitioners to use it, because it's free, it's open, and it's even multilingual. So we can fulfill a lot of requirements, basically. Up to date, we reached already more than 46,000 visits with this platform, and this will keep on growing because this platform will be open to the beneficiaries for other 3 years after the ending of the funding, which is also an added value not only for the European Commission and the national agency, but also for the practitioner, because they can use and reuse the OER platform in the future. And as you will see in the back office, all the back office section has been structured so to be sustainable in the future. At any time during the next 3 years, new sections can be added, new content can be added, so that the project and the OER platform can keep on growing. How do we get to the OER platform? Of course, we get it from the dewproject.eu website, but if not, it is published in all the institutional website of the consortium, and it is also positioned through press releases in different languages on the net, and also it has, as Lorenzo mentioned at the beginning, presence in two of the most important social networks, which are YouTube and Facebook. So please really use those results, because they are free and they are user-friendly and target to women. In terms of functionalities implemented, we will go faster. We just presented this overview to show to the practitioners how it works and how the content can be uploaded in the platform, and how new content can be hosted at any time. So in the back office, which is the only restricted part, because the associated partner need to be really approved by the consortium. So we don't want to open it to everybody, because what we really want is to ensure the quality of the results that we are giving to our beneficiaries. So that's why there is a restricted area. In this area, you will find the back office user section, the news section, the frequently asked section. All those are open and anybody can use them. The partner section, you can be listed as partner if you are from the consortium, but in the next 3 years, for example, we are more than eager to have a new associated partner that can really boost the visibility of project results and of due project in general. There are documents and deadline sections. There is a glossary section that right now hosts already more than 90 glossary items and glossary entries, all related, as you can see, to the training courses developed. So there are words like objective and key results, methodology, smart leader, digital leader. So all terms that are relevant for our target. In the community section, new associate can be added at any time. In the training section, which is the core of the platform, any practitioner allowed can upload their own new training, new targets. And right now, all the training developed is available in all languages. And also from this area, new best practices and new case studies can be added at any time for the sake of the beneficiary. Also, this category section, for example, is based and is in line with what Francesca presented. Basically, those categories were highlighted and were emerged from the research, from the methodology of Entrecomp and DigiComp, but they can even be further explored, or they can be increased as soon as the resources are obtained to go further with this project. Each as a validation check and as a validation system, we also created test or multiple choice test for to accredit to actually test the skills taught through the training. And the test questions, the test results are also linked to a certificate badge that each user can actually download and customize after having taken the training. In this platform, one of the greatest functionality for the practitioner is the possibility of actually monitoring the performance of students. Even though the platform is completely open, no login required, and the statistics are completely anonymously, the practitioner and the trainer has the possibility of actually monitor how the testing is going, how is the indicator of gradients of preference of part of beneficiaries. What is the ratio in terms of checked tests, how many certificates have been issued. And as you can see so far, and these stats are updated recently, we already have more than 1,000 users that have gone through our training in just in less than 2 years, because it is there is still half year to go with actually the actual development. In the statistics, as I said, anonymous ID session are taken in the total respect of beneficiary privacy and GDPR issue, because we are not interested in actually doing money with our targets. We only want to train them and to increase and upskill their competencies. Here is the results of tests, and another important feature for the trainers is the fact that through the advanced stats study part, through charts, we also have a complete overview of which were the course deemed more interesting, either overall or by language, and which were the most followed. This tells us what were actually the most useful training that were developed, and probably that required a huge need for boosting it, because if it is the most followed, then probably it is also the most needed in terms of skills and competencies to be improved. In the feedback section, the trainer has the possibility to actually receive a feedback from real user about one training content. This means also the possibility of giving voice to our beneficiary, to our targets, to give them the possibility to actually either appreciate or suggest some improvements for each training module in each language. All this practical part, which is the back office, is only directed and, as we have seen, accessible to real allowed personnel only, basically. But anybody, any associated partner, so any institution that is joining us can make use of this platform, because it is built for future sustainability and to give future services to our target. I will go fast in this section, because probably it will be better presented in the second part, which is the most technical part, to actually show you the results and the real resources that have been developed. The only thing that I wanted to stress also was the fact that not only we in the OER platform the training is presented, there is also some mechanism in terms of validation and in terms of certification, but also in terms of motivation that have been applied to the platform, so that it is easier for trainer to make use of this platform in their own face-to-face or blended modality and training. In fact, as a matter of fact, gamification solutions have been applied to the platform to make it more user-friendly and more appealing. We built up the self-assessment tools, the multiple choice, where the beneficiary can take the right answers on spot, and if they approve if they get more than 75% of answers right for each module, they have the access to the certificate badge, electronic certificate badge, which can be customized. And also, to make it probably more user-friendly, we created the hangman game, the guess the word game, with the training, the terminology and the glossary. So it makes really easy for user to learn new concepts and to probably reinforce the learning that they have acquired. So this is the test, and then they can get the certificate. The certificate can be customized so that it really has a meaning also for their curriculum. And this is the guess the correct word game, which was very nice. And actually, we also had to take into consideration one important fact. This OER platform had to be pan-European, but also worth using for different levels of the education, different levels of learning, and different levels of business women. So what we did was going back to square one, make it simple, make it useful and user-friendly, so that it is really all the learning knowledge and all the functionalities can be useful at any level and for any type of target. Also, we used a different type of formats to teach the training. So the training is available not only in text format, but also in PowerPoint presentation, in nice animation with cartoon type of characters. Then there are also references and bibliographies for those users that probably have a more advanced level, want to further explore those concepts, and a demo was created in order to. This is the Powtoon that I was mentioning. A demo was created in order to always make sure that the user know what they are looking at. To translate what Francesca was presenting, this is the actual result and trainings that were created. So digital skills for women entrepreneurship, managing digital team. As you can remember from Francesca's presentation, those key skills were considered the most relevant both in primary and secondary research. So that's the power of this kind of project. Each project result is related one to another, and the result is a common objective and a common results for empowerment of women. And again, in order to make it more user-friendly, we also provided some coaching solutions. So we, with the help of artificial intelligence, a digital coaching functionality was created. So we enabled an open chat box, a semi-automatized chat box that gives the user the answer they need. And if there is no rightly available answer, then their queries are collected in the back office so that the trainer can actually go back and answer those suggestions collected by beneficiary. This is the most important novelty, because we are creating a business hub, an actual community, and also we are giving interactivity and showing that behind the platform there is really a staff of experts of learning and research ready to help the user and to empower women. I would stop here in the presentation just to leave the most practical presentation of real resources to the practical part of this webinar, but I will leave you with some figures about the result that elaborated so far in this project. We already have more than 28 modules available, more than 40 best practice and case studies available, 97 glossary entry, associate partner 6, but this number will increase dramatically as soon as we finish up the test and validation, because at that time it will be the moment when we are free to spread the news about DEW project results. And as I mentioned, we already have more than 46,000 visits to this platform, and this number will also increase dramatically. And hopefully with this webinar, we will help spreading the news about the OER platform and DEW project.
Thank you, Roberta. This was very informative and detailed, and that's exactly what we needed. We want to show to our friends from the community of practice in the training area, in entrepreneurship and gender studies, wanted to show what's in the box. So you have training content in different language versions, free, open access for everybody. One element that is very important is that in this box, you also find not only the content, but you also find the validation mechanism. This is very important to test the acquisition of the competence, to validate the acquisition of the competence from the users. And then you also have the certification process. It's a certificate of attendance and completion of the training that can actually demonstrate that users actually went through the training process, etc. So this is a very important element we want to share with all the community of practice of 47,000 people and more and coming, and the 6 associated partners. There is a wealth of knowledge as a result of the research activities. There is available for everybody in an open access form, the training content, the validation mechanism, and the certification. I will leave it for the next series of the webinars to go into the greater detail of the content and the structure of the training. So for the time being, I want to thank everybody for the patience, but most importantly, Roberta from IWS in Spain and Francesca from IDP in Italy. Again, make use of these resources. They are there to stay for the entire community of practice. Thank you very much and see you in the next webinar series.